got it. All right, everyone. I'm excited for this class. Hopefully our necks and shoulders will feel really nice after. We are going to start in standing with our hand weights or toning balls. And we're going to start very gentle with some scapular glide. So just standing with your feet underneath your hips here, resting your arms by your side. We're going to take an inhale, sliding the shoulders up the back, and then exhale, releasing the shoulders down. And inhale, sliding the shoulders up the back. Exhale, softening the shoulders down. Inhale, slide, and exhale, soften. And inhale, slide, and exhale, soften, letting all that tissue at the top of the neck and shoulders just relax and melt and soften. Good. We'll do 2 more. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Taking an arm circle forward, up and around. Inhale, forward, up and around. And really allow those shoulder blades to slide around with the arms. Reach. And on this next one, we're going to take 1 more circle. Exhale. Take 1 reach up overhead, and then bend your elbows, letting the weight drop back towards your spine. From here, a little heart opening. We're going to take an inhale, reaching the heart center up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, just return the spine back upright. So we're almost allowing gravity and the weights to pull the chest back and then returning to stack. And we want to be careful that we're not dumping into the hips and taking this little release from our lower back, but really lengthening the top of the chest, top of the shoulders back. Exhale, returning to that nice flat spine. We'll do 3 more here. Inhale, little chest opening. Exhale, little return. Inhale, little chest opening. Exhale, little return. You might feel a little bit of a core come on as you return the chest. Bringing the spine back upright. We're going to inhale the arms straight overhead, and then exhale, we're going to bring them down in front of the body to reverse our circles now. Going up through the center and down in front through the middle. Up through the center and down in front through the middle. And don't be afraid to let the ribs expand as those arms reach. Don't be afraid to let the shoulders slide up the back. And we'll do 2 more here. And inhale. And exhale, bringing those arms in front of the chest. We're going to take a little steady march from side to side. And really let the thigh just sort of fold up like the knee is being lifted up by a little puppet string. And thigh folds up and down and up and down. And we're going to add opposite arm to leg. So we're going to reach one arm up and then reach the other arm up, lengthening out the side of the torso, lengthening out the side of the waist. That's it. Pulling the inner thighs up straight through your midline. In 3, in 2, in 1, and 1. You're gonna hold the thigh up here, taking your balance, bringing the weights right at the chest height, bending your supporting knee and stretching. And bend and stretch. And bend and stretch. Squaring off the hips, soften the front of the hip, let the back of the knee fold up, and 2 more. Bend and stretch, and bend and stretch. We're gonna take a little bend, holding here, reaching your toe back behind you, sliding your spine forward, and then take a little hinge and kick. Hinge and kick. So I'm tipping my spine forward and finding that fold through that standing hip, standing inner thigh pulling back and in. We're going to do 3 more, and 2, and 1. You're going to reach that toe back, coming to a little lunge, bringing your arms up to the side and back down. Up to the side and back down. Pumping through that back heel. I'm going to lift my back heel up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale for 2 and 1. You're gonna bring your weight into your chest. You're gonna bring your weight into your front toes. Reach your back toes long and then start to bring your spine forward. So we're tipping forward, long spine from crown of the head towards the toe, holding for 1 inhale, holding for an exhale. Reach your foot back behind you into the lunge, reaching your arms down to the floor, taking your hands to the inside of your front foot and opening up the opposite arm to twist. Inhale, exhale, and then circling that arm around and back. We're gonna bring both hands to the mat here. We're gonna touch that back knee down, and then you're gonna take your front leg and bring it back to meet the other leg here. Fold your heels in towards your seat. Lengthen your heart center forward and start to slide those shoulders back and then forward. Little slide of the shoulders back and then forward. So finding that stability through your core, through your spine, and then letting those shoulder blades slide around for 3, for 2. Remember, your head is a part of your spine, so feel that length from crown of the head to the tail. And 1, you're gonna center the shoulders on the back, touch your toes down, lift your knees up through plank, lift your hips up and back, and then walk your feet towards your hands, reaching for those weights, rolling your spine up to standing, and coming back to our marches, where we reach opposite arm to leg, and trying to lift the inner thighs right up towards our spine. So keep your weight underneath you. Let the knee fold up without having to shift too much through the hips. So we're folding directly up. That's it. Easy lift of the thigh. And 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna come back to the other side here for a little bend and stretch. Standing on the other leg, taking a little demi squat and stretch. Little demi squat and stretch. Widen the front of your chest. Spine nice and strong, stacking the bones over those hips. Bend and stretch, and bend and stretch, and bend and stretch. This time we're gonna hold our little squat, tip the hips forward, and kick that back knee out and in, out and in, out and in. So I'm thinking of tilting my tail back, sits bones wide, and swinging the thigh back. Return and back. Return for 2. And 1, you're gonna reach your toe back, taking a little lunge, reaching your arms to the side, going through a little leg pump, return, leg pump, and return. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, long spine for 3 and 2 and 1. We're gonna bring our hands in front of the chest. Take your weight forward, reaching those toes back, and then lengthen your spine forward and out through those toes, holding for a breath here. Inhale. Exhale, begin to reach that back toe behind you, taking the weights down to the floor, taking your hands down to the floor here. Coming into a nice runner's lunge. Take a breath, open, opposite arm to front leg. 2 breaths here in the spiral. And then circle that arm around and back here, bringing your back knee down, and then taking that front knee to meet the back knee, just pitching your weight forward, so flat spine, hugging the heels into the back of the hips, going for a few scap glides forward and back. So keep your spine flat like a board and let the shoulders move around the sides of the ribs. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Find that halfway point where the shoulders just rest on the back of the ribs. Tuck your toes down, lift your abdominal wall towards the spine, and start to lengthen those legs back. Holding here in 3, holding here in 2, holding here in 1 to lift those hips up and back, sliding the heels down towards the floor, lifting those sitting bones up towards the ceiling, and then bring your knees down to touch, letting your hips settle back down onto your heels here, taking a little bit more chest opening. So lift your hips up, reach your arms up. From here, take 2 breaths to begin to lengthen your sternum and your heart center up and back and reach. And then we're going to start to lift up and forward. Imagine like the momentum of a waterfall or a wave. So I'm lifting up through my belly as I continue to roll forward and curl through cat stretch. Hands are going to arrive at the mat. Lengthen your spine back to neutral. And then sink your hips down towards your heels, rolling up through the spine. Lifting the hips up, lifting the arms up, reaching the heart center up and back. Inhale, exhale, and then lift your spine up and forward. So as I curl and around my spine, I'm pulling the belly in towards the back, landing in cat stretch, unfolding through neutral spine, and then settling the sitting bones back into the heels. And then we'll continue with a little bit more fluid motion. So lifting the hips up, reaching the arms up, lifting the heart center up and back, lifting the heart center up and forward, and then releasing through neutral, settling the hips back to the heels, rolling up through the spine to lift again. Use your breath here. Little reach, little lift up and over, finding that neutral back, and then settling hips back to heels. One more time, rolling up, lifting up, reaching up, lengthening heart center up and back, and then up and forward, curl, curl, curl. Find that neutral spine, pausing there in our 4-point kneel. Walk your hands forward in front of your shoulders. You're going to tent your fingertips into the floor, and then you're going to sink your hips back as you reach those hands forward, and then continue to breathe, only going to where that stretch feels comfortable in your body. Gradually opening the heart center as you drop the hips back, feeling that stretch through the front of the arms and the armpits and the ribs. Take 2 more breaths here. And then roll yourself all the way up to a seated position. Good. Make your way to 4-point kneel again. Doing a little bit of shoulder circles. So I'm going to come down onto my mat. And we're going to pretend we have 2 wheels, so 1 wheel in each shoulder socket. And we're going to keep our spine nice and flat as we circle these wheels forward, up, and around. Back, forward, up, and around. So trying to get all sides of that circle. Keep going here. I'm just going to delayer so you can see my shoulders a little bit better. So I'm trying to keep that spot between the shoulder blades still. If you think of your spine being flat like a board, and then just circling your shoulders in one direction. Remember, your head is a part of your spine, so lifting your head up to meet the spine, circling those shoulders forward, up and around. In 3, in 2, feeling that heat through the back of the shoulders, and 1. We're going to reverse the direction of our circles. So now they're going to go back, down, forward, and around. Back, down, forward, and around. If the elbows bend a little bit as you do this, that's fine, but we're bringing on all that local stability inside our shoulder sockets to help those neck muscles free up and release. We'll do 4, we'll do 3, we'll do 2, and 1, and let's take one more fascial stretch here, reaching those fingertips forward, tenting those fingertips into the floor, and then sinking your pelvis back towards your hips, feeling the front of the shoulders open and the heart center widen. Breathing here for 3 slow breaths. And then soften your arms, soften your hips, and then roll yourself up to seated position. Okay, we're gonna grab our weights now, lying down on your spine. I'm gonna just switch my positioning here. I'll come up to my raised mat. And you can bend your knees, feet flat to your mat. Resting your spine down like so. That's it, having your weights handy here. We're gonna reach our arms up over our, not just over our chest, but really discover where is the back of that shoulder socket. And then let the weight drop right over that socket. So the arms might be a little higher up than you think. Now, if we just let the top of the shoulder and the neck relax, naturally, the combo of gravity and those hand weights will cause the head of the arm bone to fall back into the floor. So can you really feel that contact? Almost like the socket is just holding the arm bone in place. From here, we're going to slide our scapula towards the ceiling, towards the sky, and then we're going to let the weight of the arm bone and the weight drive the arm bone back to that position. Inhale, slide the shoulders forward, and then exhale, plug the arm bone back and in towards the shoulder. Inhale, shrugging forward. Exhale, sliding those arms back and forward and back. Notice, are you tucking your chin and flattening the back of your neck in order to press the shoulders forward? Or can you keep the head neutral, eye line looking straight ahead, shoulders moving on their own? And then relax. Now, feel here with the weight of the arm bone dropping straight back into the shoulder, can you feel that there's more contact with the shoulder blades onto your mat? Keep that contact with the shoulder blades onto the mat as you open one arm to the side and then return. Keep that contact of the shoulder blades onto the mat as you open the arm and then return. Inhale, open to the side. Exhale to return. Inhale, open to the side. Exhale to return. Let's add a scapular reach between each set. So we're going to slide those arm bones forward, slide those arm bones back, getting contact with the floor, and then open your left arm. Bring your left arm to return. Scapula glide forward and back. Right arm is going to open and return. 2 more times, sliding forward and back, keeping the head of the arm bone spinning back in the joint, and return, scapula reach forward and back, keeping the head of the arm bone in the joint as you open and return, and then lower your arms down towards the floor here. Just cross your arms in front of the chest. Reach your fingertips behind your ribs to give yourself a big hug. And as you breathe, just feel the expansion of the sides of your ribs and the front of your chest. And then just circle your arms up overhead and around and down to your hips, taking some focus to our core now. So we're going to lift the knees up one at a time, going for a little march, easy march from side to side here. That's it. Imagine those puppet strings just floating the thighs up. Easy march through the hips. And we'll do 2, 2, and 1, and 1. Releasing your legs down. We're going to go into a little micro windshield wipe to the left and center. Windshield right to the right and center. Now, if you have the ability to go all the way over and fall into those bones, today, don't go to your full range. Let's go to 50%, halfway of our range to the left, holding for a breath here. Holding that little knee twist. Exhale, return the hips center. Same thing over to the right. Knees just go halfway, not to our full range. It'll feel very small, very subtle. Breathing into this. One breath, inhale. One breath, exhale. Returning your hips back to the center. And then we're going to take a little bridge, lift up, and then just let the hips fall back down. Lift up and let the hips fall back down. So shoulder bridge, we keep neutral through our pelvis, and we just pick the hips up and drop the hips back down. Little pick of the hips up and down. Now, same thing, don't go to the full range. If it's accessible to you to lift those hips all the way up, maybe just go halfway up and down, halfway up and down, halfway up and down, halfway up and down. Then we're going to lift those hips up halfway and holding here. You're going to lean into your right foot. So your knees are going to steer a little bit to the right. Hold here. Bring your knees back center. Lean into your left foot, steering the knees a little bit to the left. Come back center and release your pelvis back down. Good. Same thing on the floor. You're going to lean into your left foot. So we're kind of translating the pelvis over to the left. Then rock your knees over and then hold for a breath here. Inhale, exhale. Then return your knees back to the center. Do one pelvic press up and down. Lean your weight over to your right foot. Then rock your knees halfway to the right, not going to those full ranges. Holding for a breath. Inhale. Exhale. And then slide your knees back through the middle, going through hip roll. So you're going to tuck your hips forward, peeling the bones. Excuse me. Rolling up and rolling down. It's allergy season. Spring is here. Rolling down. Let's do 2 more like that. Curling and rolling up. And rolling down. Now we're going to curl and roll up and combine some of those little weight transfers we did on the floor. So you're going to lean into your left hip, rock your knees over to the left halfway, and hold for 2 breaths. Pushing your arms back into the floor. Remember, we're not going to full range. We're just holding mid-range. And then slowly bring your hips back to the center and roll your way back down, right through the middle of the spine. Roll your way up. Put more weight into your right foot, leaning your hips over to the right, and then rocking your knees over to the right as well. Holding that position in that halfway range. In 2 and 1, bring your hips back for the midline, and then roll your spine back down. Go back to some marches here. from side to side. See if there's any more freedom in the hips. And march, and march, and march, and march. Reach for your weights. Bring your knees up to tabletop. So setting our core. So challenge yourself today. See if you can bring your knees directly over your hips and not folded in. As long as it feels okay in the back and you're feeling load through those low tummy muscles. From here, arms are gonna reach up. Can we find that shoulder positioning? So take a little shrug forward and back. Feel the back of the arm bones settling into your socket, and then reach the left arm back and return. Reach the right arm back and return, and then reach opposite arm to leg. Inhale, reach. Exhale, return. Inhale, reach. Exhale, return. Inhale, reach. Exhale, return. Try not to tuck your chin to your chest, so keep your jaw pointed straight up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Lower your toes down, slide your feet along the mat. Let's roll our way up to seated. So arms are gonna reach forward, curl through your spine. Begin to curl and peel those bones all the way up to a seated position here. And then let's roll our way back down. Just turn around to face you. Reaching those arms forward as you roll down. Let's fold those arms in towards the chest. And then like we're rolling out the top of the thighs as you curl and roll up. Reaching those arms forward and then rolling your way back down through the center of the spine. Inhale, exhale, curl, roll your way up. Inhale, exhale, roll your way back down. Let's do two more like this. Inhale, exhale, curl your way back up. Inhale, exhale, roll your way back down. Let's do one more to come up to a seated position here. Climbing your way back up. Stretching forward, drop those weights down at your mat. And then slide yourself just back onto your elbows here. We're gonna do little hip rolls. So bring your knees up to tabletop, and you can glue those thigh bones together. And let's just start with a little twist from side to side. And again, we're not going to full range today. We're staying in mid ranges, trying to find more stability locally and side to side. Now, if it's accessible to you, we can do same thing with the legs straight, rocking from one side to the other. And let's slow the movement down here. We're gonna do inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So finding that low tummy support. That's it. And then we'll go into some circles with this. So whether you have straight legs or bent knees, either way, same muscles working. Circle those legs down and around to one side. And let's go same direction 4 more times. Circle, that's it. Finding that low tummy support. So only going as far down with those legs as your core can control. So it's not going into your lower back. Squeezing those inner thighs together. Beautiful. Returning through the middle. Just a little bend and stretch. Let's release those knees. And we'll go to the other side. Here we go. Over to the right. And down and circle. Over to the left. And return. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Circle. 2 more. Beautiful. Nice, ladies. And return, bringing those legs down here. We're gonna flex the feet, dig those heel bones down into the floor. You're gonna roll yourself back down, and we're gonna do little climb a tree with one side then the other. So let's start with our left leg up here. Push your opposite heel down into the floor. reach for behind your left knee. Then curl your way up the leg until you reach the heel. And then curl your way back down. Inhale, exhale. Rolling up, inhale. And exhale, reach towards the foot. And inhale, exhale, reach down. Let's switch sides here. We'll go 2 on the other side. Inhale, exhale, crawling up the leg. And inhale, exhale, rolling down the leg. Inhale, exhale, climbing up the leg. And inhale, exhale to roll down. Let's lift both legs up and curl, climbing up both legs. Try to extend the legs, reaching to those heels. And then rolling down. You can bend your knees, lowering down with control. Rolling your way back up again, flexing through those heels, climb your way up, reach, reach, reach. Try to lengthen your sternum, lengthen the back of your thighs, and then roll your way back down, bending the knees. We're gonna add a little bit more balance work here. We're gonna curl up. We're gonna reach towards our heels, and we're gonna try to lengthen our spine on top of our sit bones here, opening the legs just to a little open leg rocker. Good. Now take your hands towards your left leg. Lower the right leg down and up. Take your hands towards the right leg. Lower the left leg down and up. One more each side, finding that control. Over to the right. Lower down and up. And then fold those knees in, toes together. Knees apart, just stretch over the thighs, taking 2 breaths here. And then let's just roll the spine up. Take your knees back behind you and find your 4-point kneel. Good. Okay, in our 4-point kneel here, little hip release. So let's find our hip release from our shoulders. Can everyone just sort of slide their shoulders up and down? Slide your shoulders up and down. So we're putting a little bit of space under the armpits. And then when you slide your shoulders down, don't go so far that we're compressing or pinching or pulling those shoulders. They just sort of return to a little hover. One more. Relax here. You're going to bend your knees, float your hips back, but can you leave your shoulders behind? And then float your hips forward. So as we move our hips back, it's almost like we're separating the ribs from the shoulders. And then as we return, we're bringing the rib cage back to meet the shoulder. And hinging back, letting the ribs separate from the shoulders, gliding up. And then the ribs slide forward to meet the shoulders. And let's go a little bit forward into more full range back, leaving those shoulders behind, passing through the center, and coming forward to where those ribs meet the shoulder. And back. And return. Let's find our centered position. Lean into your right hip, and then same hinges with more weight in that right side. Hinge and return. Hinge and return. And same idea that we're separating the rib from the shoulders. We're letting it release, and then we're letting it find the ribs on the return. And 2 more here. And then return, those arms down. Find your center. Before switching sides, just do 1 through the middle. Return, let's lean into our left hip, hinging more so through that left side. And we're trying to feel like the scapula sort of releasing from those ribs. And little hinge and return. Hinge. Try not to grip those upper abdominals. And hinge. And return. Let's bring our weight right through the middle. Take a cat stretch from here. Rippling through the spine, rounding the spine, dropping the head, reversing that tailbone, tipping up, ribs fanning forward, chest widening, and curl, 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 and release, 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 release. One more, curl, 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 curl. And then as you release, let's just bring our hips forward and our chest all the way down on the mat. Bring your hands right beside your shoulders and turn your head to the right. Taking a few breaths here. All we're doing is breathing. Turn your head to the other direction. Finding a few breaths there. And then find your head center here. We're going to lift up into a micro chest lift. So begin to lift your head up, lift your chest up, and then both of you explore the full range. So go to where the back kind of just folds, if you have that range. We're gonna avoid these sort of hypermobile points of give in our back today. And as you go for that upper back lift, think of opening the front of your heart center without collapsing into that mid-back. So we're only going as high up as we can without letting the ribs just sort of collapse into the floor. And then you're gonna release the spine forward from there. And then again, lengthen out through the crown of your head, only lifting up to where you feel like you can find that stability. So not dumping into that back or the mid-back. You might feel some heat across the upper shoulder blade or lower shoulder blade. And then release down. And we'll do one more like this. Inhale, exhale. So be really specific about it. If you need to, maybe test out where is that full range? Where do I automatically go into that mid-back? And then come out of it from there. Let's reset once more. Lower your spine down. Inhale, exhale your way up. And then float your arms off the mat here. A little bit more loading into the back, into the upper back. Going through a little breaststroke now. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, widen the arms to lift up through breaststroke. I'm gonna face you this way. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, forward. Exhale, reach those arms up and back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, reach those arms up and back. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Again, don't go into that full range where we're collapsing through the ribs. Finding that serratus underneath the shoulder blade. And holding here, sliding your hands under your shoulders. Fold your heels in towards your seat. Lift your belly away from the floor. And then let's take a big push. Push the floor away. Exhale, pushing that floor away. Beautiful. Nice transition there. Tuck your toes down and find a little hip hinge with your arms slightly reaching in front of the shoulders. Widen your knees. We're going to alternate here between a hip hinge, finding that shoulder placement, tucking the toes under to lift into plank and return. Hip hinge and plank and return. Hip hinge and plank, return. Hip hinge and plank. Return. Let's do one more. Hip hinge and plank and return. Then we're gonna go down onto the right elbow, down onto the left elbow, up into the right arm, left arm, find your plank, and return. So as I lower through my elbow, I'm not collapsing through my spine. And stretch the knees and fold. So hugging the arm into the waist, right, left, and stretch, lower, right, left, and stretch, and lower, right, left, and stretch, and lower, reversing that, left, right, stretch, return, keeping your head in line with your spine here, breathing through it, inhale, exhale, stretch, return, inhale, exhale, stretch, return, inhale, exhale, stretch, and hold, keep your legs where they are. Come down onto your elbows, holding the plank on your elbows here, feeling those shoulders activate, heart center lengthening forward, activate those legs, power, breathe, 10, breathe, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, don't drop the knees on 3, 2, come up onto your hands in 1, lift your hips up and back through downward dog here. From downward dog, we're gonna reach forward into plank, back into downward dog, forward into plank, back into downward dog. Now, if you wish, add a reach, opposite arm to leg. So right arm back to left thigh, return, left arm back to right thigh, and return. Exhale, right to left, inhale, exhale, left to right. One more each side. And we're gonna come out of this. Bring your knees down. Woo, sink your hips back to your heels and relax for a moment there. You can circle out the wrists. Well done, everyone. Kind of plank series. Okay, let's roll our spines up here. We're gonna make our way back to standing just for a little sideways work. Okay, let's start with a little lunge out to the right. So I'm bending through my knee, reaching my leg out to the side, arms out to the side here. We're just gonna go into little bends up and over the pelvis. So my ribs are lifting up and over my hips. And we'll do 2, 2, 1, 1. Bend a little deeper into that leg and pulse here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up and over to the other side. Dig a little deeper into that straight leg out to the side, pushing that heel down to the floor as you pulse. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those arms up, sweep them down, slide that foot into the middle, and then picking the knee up here. Taking your arms in front of the chest. We're gonna rotate towards that front knee, towards the top leg, and then return. Finding your core, finding your center, and then rotating those shoulders around the ribs, around the hips. And rotate, and return, and rotate, and return. Reach the scapula forward off the back. And return, rotate, and return. Bringing that leg down, sending the opposite leg out to a little lunge here. And then taking our side bends. Side to side, side to side. Ribs are going up and over the hips. up and over the hips. In 3, 3, in 2, 2, in 1, 1, pulsing over, deep in that stance, deep in that squat. Pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. These don't have to be big pulses. 3, 2, 1. Up and over to the other side. Pulsing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle those arms through the middle. Slide your leg back in, lifting the toe to the knee. Reach those arms up and around and forward. Twist through the shoulders and return. Twist and return. So imagine this scapula sliding off those ribs and then returning. Twist and return. We'll do 3. We'll do 2. And 1. And then relax your feet down below your hips. Let's do a little roll down to finish. As you roll your way down, lean into your right heel, and then roll your shoulders or turn your shoulders towards the right. Breathe here. Then return your leg center, return your shoulder center, lean over to the left, and then turn your shoulders around to the left. Breathing here. Bring your feet center, bring your shoulders center, bend your knees, and stretch. And bend your knees, and stretch. Bend your knees, and stretch. Bend your knees and roll up. Very slow, one vertebrae at a time. Just take your hands behind your head as you roll up. Find a moment to find your center if you're a little dizzy. And then just take a breath, inhale, opening the chest, heart center towards the ceiling. And exhale, relax to finish there. Alrighty, we're done for today. Thanks, ladies. That was fun.